Before the immortal pilots, before the great wars, before the empires that now dominate the cluster, there was another humanity, a humanity that stood on the edge of a vast and unknown frontier, a civilization that looked toward the stars and believed there would always be another horizon to reach. For thousands of years, humanity expanded, world after world, system after system, driven by curiosity, driven by ambition, driven by the belief that the future belonged to those willing to chase it. But every great civilization leaves behind ruins, and every golden age ends. The universe we know as New Eden was not born from triumph. It was born from collapse. This is the story of the universe before the Capsuleers, the story of humanity's greatest discovery and its greatest catastrophe. Long before the formation of the modern empires, humanity's birthplace remained Earth. Technology advanced, population grew, the solar system was conquered, and eventually, humanity began to reach beyond it. The invention of faster-than-light travel transformed civilization forever. Distances that once seemed impossible became manageable. Stars that had existed only as points of light suddenly became destinations. Colonization accelerated. Entire worlds were settled. New economies emerged. New cultures formed. Humanity spread outward across the galaxy in a wave of expansion unlike anything it had experienced before. For a time, it seemed limitless. Each new colony became a foundation for another. Each frontier opened the door to countless more. The future appeared endless. Yet the greatest discovery was still waiting, hidden beyond known space. Somewhere in humanity's expansion, explorers discovered something impossible, a natural wormhole, unlike anything previously encountered. Its scale dwarfed every human achievement. Its existence challenged everything humanity thought it understood about the universe. This phenomenon would become known as the Eve Gate. Beyond it lay an entirely new cluster of stars, a vast region untouched by human civilization, a second frontier, an entire universe waiting to be explored. The discovery changed everything. Governments, corporations, colonists, scientists, all saw opportunity beyond the gate. A rush began. Ships crossed into the new cluster, settlements appeared, infrastructure expanded. The first foundations of what would one day become New Eden were established. Humanity believed it had found its future. Instead, it had found its isolation. The colonies beyond the Eve Gate prospered. Trade routes connected distant systems. Technology advanced rapidly. Resources flowed freely. New societies emerged. Many of these colonies developed identities distinct from their origins. Distance from Earth encouraged independence. Cultures evolved. Languages changed. Political systems diverged. The cluster flourished. For generations, life improved. The future seemed secure. The connection to humanity's birthplace remained intact through the Eve Gate. As long as the gate remained stable, the colonies could rely on support from the worlds behind them. But stability can create complacency, and even the greatest structures can fail. No one knows exactly what happened. The details were lost long ago. Some theories suggest natural instability. Others point toward catastrophic chain reactions. Whatever the cause, the result was devastating. The Eve Gate collapsed. The wormhole that connected the cluster to the rest of humanity disappeared. In an instant, countless colonies were cut off. Trade ended. Communications ceased. Supply lines vanished. Entire worlds found themselves stranded, alone. The disaster unleashed unimaginable destruction. Many systems suffered severe environmental collapse. Orbital infrastructure failed. Populations starved. Civilizations crumbled. Worlds that had once thrived descended into chaos. Some colonies disappeared entirely. Others regressed centuries. Knowledge was lost. Technology vanished. History fragmented. Humanity's second great frontier became a graveyard of forgotten civilizations. For generations, survival replaced ambition. The age of expansion was over. The age of darkness had begun. The centuries that followed reshaped the cluster. Without contact, without support, without shared infrastructure, each surviving colony faced its own challenges. Some adapted, some collapsed, some transformed into societies their ancestors would barely recognize. Over time, myths replaced records. Facts became legends. Ancient technology became relics. The memory of Earth faded. The memory of the Eve Gate faded. Even the memory of humanity's origin faded. Entire populations grew up knowing nothing of the civilization that had once connected the stars. History became fragments. Fragments became stories. Stories became myths. And from those myths, new civilizations would eventually emerge. As centuries passed, several societies began to recover. They rebuilt, they expanded, they rediscovered lost knowledge. They looked once again toward the stars. Among them were the ancestors of the great powers that dominate New Eden today. The Amar, the Galente, the Kaldari, the Minmatar. Each followed a different path. Each developed different beliefs, different ambitions, different visions for the future. Yet all shared a common origin. All were descendants of survivors. Survivors of a catastrophe so complete that it reshaped the destiny of humanity itself. The empires would rise. Wars would be fought. Heroes and tyrants would emerge. But those stories belong to another chapter, very capsuleer. Every empire, every corporation, every war can trace its origins back to a single event, the collapse of the Eve Gate. Without that catastrophe, New Eden as we know it would never have existed. The civilizations of the cluster were not built upon uninterrupted progress. They were built upon survival, upon rediscovery, upon the determination of humanity to rebuild after losing almost everything. The stars of New Eden are filled with stories. Stories of triumph, stories of betrayal, stories of war, and stories that have been forgotten for thousands of years. This archive exists to uncover them. Because before the immortal capsuleers, before the great wars, before the empires, there was only humanity, standing before an unknown universe and taking its first step into the darkness. History is rarely preserved in full. It survives in fragments, in records, in ruins, and in the memories of those who choose to remember. This archive is dedicated to preserving those fragments, to understanding the civilizations that came before, and to uncovering the stories still hidden among the stars. Until the next archive entry, fly safe.